We are at week 11 of the 2024 NFL season. It's been a pretty wild ride so far. Let's do my week 11 picks. But first, let's do a quick recap of week 10. So for week 10, I went 11 and 3 for a total record of 97 and 55. I think I'm doing pretty good. Let's go over week 10. I chose the Ravens to beat the Bengals in a good Thursday night football game. The Bengals got kind of screwed over on that 2-point conversion. They missed a face mask, and I'm pretty sure there was another penalty somewhere in the end zone. But, I mean, they shouldn't have thrown it deep on all of those fourth downs that they had. Lamar Jackson's a beast. I feel bad for Joe Burrow. Then, the Germany game, I chose the Panthers to beat the Giants, and they won. Bryce Young, Chuba Hubbard, they're getting the groove on. The Giants suck. Then I chose the Niners to beat the Buccaneers in a very close game that came down to the field goal. Baker Mayfield is doing everything he can, but so is Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy has more weapons. He has Debo. McCaffrey came back. The guy who got shot, Pearsall, is that his name? He scored a touchdown, I think. Baker, like I said, he doesn't have his top receiving weapons, but he's doing his damnedest. Did you see that play where he was stiff-arming Nick Bosa while he running to the sideline and he converted the fourth down? That's talent right there. Yeah, it's Ricky Pearsall. Got shot, came back, scored a touchdown. Meanwhile, you have Michael Thomas, who stubbed his toe, being a little bitch, crying on Twitter that Derek Carr sucks, even though he doesn't. It's just Michael Thomas is being a little bitch. Anyways, back to the Niners and Buccaneers. Yeah, I feel bad for Baker, but the better team won this game, unfortunately. Then I chose the Vikings to beat the Jaguars in what looks like the worst game of the week. They won 12-7. The only touchdown that the Jags scored was that Mac Jones goal line touchdown. Other than that, the Vikings didn't have to do much defensive wise. I didn't know that Trevor Lawrence wasn't going to play in the game. I didn't look into what the injury was, but that sucks. They can't do anything without Trevor Lawrence. And yeah, Sam Darnold's going through this weird regression thing, but they still won. Then I chose the Bears to beat the Patriots, and they lost 19-3. And the rest of the schedule does not look pretty. They play the Seahawks, and then they play the rest of their brothers in the NFC North. And that doesn't look pretty. I tweeted that the Bears would at least beat the Cardinals and the Patriots. They lost to both of them. And I don't see them winning a single game the rest of the season. They fired their offensive coordinator, but I think next it has to be the head coach. Come on. Then I chose the Bills to beat the Colts, and then they won. Yeah, Joe Flacco regressed. He's not elite anymore. I'm sorry to hear that. And Anthony Richardson is going to start the rest of the season. And come on, the Bills, they're the more complete team. They were going to win, obviously. I chose the Chiefs to beat the Broncos, and we all knew what was going to happen. The Chiefs got outplayed like the whole game. Bo Nix had a nice drive. He had some good touchdown passes. Then he had a nice drive at the end of the game to get them in field goal range. And then the field goal got blocked. And the Chiefs won. And they look like the worst 9-0 team I've ever seen. They're rivaling the Steelers when they went like 11-0 or 13-0 or whatever. Because that was a very weird Steelers team. More magical bullshit that the Chiefs are winning off of. They shouldn't have won that game. Then I chose the Saints to beat the Falcons. I was basically thinking, fuck it, Derek Carr's back. Like, I know he was back during the Panthers game, but he's back. And fuck it, let's ball. And he did. He had some really nice passes. And they did exactly what they needed to do. Also, the Falcons are a strange team to gauge because Younghoe Koo had 3 missed field goals. That doesn't really happen all the time. And Kirk Cousins threw a pick to, why can't I think of his name right now? He just threw a pick directly to the defender. Come on. Yeah, Saints won 2017. Then I chose the Commanders to beat the Steelers, and that was a loss for me. That was my first loss. Actually, my second loss I faced that week. Those offenses are really damn good, but mistake after mistake led to them losing. And the Steelers look really damn good. Good for Russell Wilson. Then I chose the Chargers to beat the Titans, and like Titans fashion, it looked close in the beginning, then just shit the bed for the rest of the game. Mason Rudolph was back, but that didn't amount to anything. They lost 27-17. Then I chose the Eagles to beat the Cowboys. What do you expect? The Cowboys are garbage without Dak. Look how bad they were in 2020. They were, was it 2020? Well, whenever he was injured, they were awful. And they look awful without him. Eagles, they're looking pretty damn good. Then I chose the Cardinals to beat the Jets, and that was funny to see. That was really funny to see, 31-6. No one was on the right page on the Jets. They look awful. Then I chose the Lions to beat the Texans, and they won, but it was really close. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions. The Texans were up 23-7 at halftime, and they just shit the bed. There's no way that you get 5 interceptions and you still lose the game. And Jake Bates, the kicker for the Lions, had 2 really close field goals. I thought he was going to miss both of them because they were kissing. They were kissing the goalposts. But yeah, just the Texans, they don't look legit anymore. I'm sorry. Lions do, however, because they're scrappy. And even when they have an ugly performance like that, they can still win. That's really funny. Then I chose the Rams to beat the Dolphins, and that didn't pan out. They lost 23-15 at home at SoFi. It was a really ugly game from what I saw. Entertaining, but it was ugly. Didn't look pretty. Bad offensive line play. Tua had that pick. Then he went to the tackle. We all got scared. Now, we can finally move on to my Week 11 picks. Starting off from Thursday Night Football, we got the Commanders taking on the Eagles. And this is very tough for me because I think the Commanders have the more explosive offense, really explosive offense. But I just think the Eagles are more complete. They look pretty dominant. And to my knowledge, the Commanders have more close games than the Eagles. And the Eagles, I think, have had a more tough road coming into this game. Let's look at the Eagles' past games. Well, 34-6 against the Cowboys, 20-23 against the Jags, 37-17, a pretty convincing win against a team like the Bengals, very explosive. Mollywop the Giants, barely scraped by against the Browns, lost to the Bucks, barely beat the Saints. Oh God, maybe I'm not right about the Eagles after all. Lost to the Falcons by 1. Barely beat the Packers in Brazil. Oh, God. Have they just been playing shit teams? Kind of looks like it at this point. Well, I'm still picking the Eagles on this just because the Commanders and that defense, it's not great. And Jordan Love has looked much more impressive as these games go on. Even though he's been playing bad teams, I still think that the Eagles are going to take this pretty convincingly. Then we got the Sunday games, the Packers taking on the Bears. Packers, what am I supposed to say? The Bears have looked pretty pathetic these past games. What losing streak are they on at the moment? The Packers are coming off of a bye. They're pretty well rested. The Bears have lost 1, 2, 3 games in a row to the Commanders, to the Cardinals, and to the Patriots. And I don't think they're going to win a game for the rest of the season. They got their brothers in the North. Then they got the Niners and the Seahawks. Damn, that's a very tough schedule. They have the toughest schedule for the rest of the season. And they had a cakewalk for the first half of the season. You know, they were beating bad teams and they looked kind of whatever themselves, but Caleb Williams was obviously the shining star, and of course that defense was pretty solid, but they just kind of crapped the bed these past few weeks. 3 straight losses, OC fired. And the Packers, coming off of a bye, they're obviously well rested. And solely because the Packers aren't the Bears, I think the Packers are going to win this game. The Bears, they're pathetic at this point. So we move on to the Jags and the Lions. I'm taking on the Lions because I don't know about the Trevor Lawrence situation. Let me look that up real quick. Yeah, so no T-Law, there's no chance. I like Mac Jones. I liked him when he was a Patriot because, you know, he was fun, scrappy. But with no T-Law, that offense is putrid. Lions by a long shot. There's nothing else to say. Then the Vikings taking on the Titans. The Vikings, because the Titans are garbage. We can call them the worst team in the NFL right now, I think. The Vikings, on the other hand, have this weird regression thing going on. The defense is still pretty good, but they are, 7-2. I still believe in Sam Darnold, even though he made some weird throws, made some weird interceptions that he, typical for him on the Jets. But the Titans suck, Vikings don't. So Vikings. Then we got the Raiders coming off of a bye, taking on the Dolphins coming off of a win. One of their first win in a while. So this is funny because all of my family are Dolphin fans, and I'm a Raider fan. My grandpa got me to the Raiders. The rest of my family, like my mom, dad, sister, brother, they're Dolphin fans. So it sucks. And they're not going to gloat to me about it that they're going to win because, we know they're going to win. They're the better team. Looks like Gardner Minshew is going to start because Desmond Ridder is still young. But I have no faith in this team anymore. I have no faith in this team. The Raiders are pathetic. They're awful. I hate saying that about my team, but we suck. We're doo-doo. And I don't want to blame Antonio Pierce. I think he could have made a few different decisions throughout the year. But hiring Luke Getsy was the first bad decision you made. Hopefully our offense will look better without Getsy. I think that'll be, an improvement. Hopefully we have better play calling. But the Dolphins, ever since Tua came back, that team just looks so much better. They're more explosive. They're more fun. Without Tua, that team was nothing. Nothing. So solely because the Dolphins are the more fun team and the more scrappy team, and the Raiders have looked awful. Here's how the Raiders games go. They have a good drive. They have a good drive at the beginning of the game to get a touchdown, and then we shit the bed for the rest of the game. Our defense does their best, but they can't do their best all game. Then we have the drive at the end of the game to make it look like, oh, it's a little closer than we thought. No. Dolphins are taking this pretty easily. Then we got the Rams taking on the Patriots. I'm going with the Rams on this. The Patriots are they're not a good team anymore. And I don't know who their quarterback's going to be for this week. Let's see. Who was their quarterback for against the Bears? Because it's not... Was it Drake? Oh, Drake May. Yeah. I mean, he's good, but this Rams team is very scrappy. They're very fun to watch, even though their record is 4-5. They can be explosive at times, and because the Patriots aren't explosive in any way, they haven't had a convincing win all season. I think the Patriots, that first game of the season, they surprised the Seahawks. I think that's what it was. I can't remember. But damn, this Rams, come on. Patriots they're just kind of sad. Then we got the Browns taking on the Saints. I'm going with the Saints on this because the Saints look much more explosive, even though they only scored 20 points last week. They still have the better run game. They still have the better pass game. And I think they have the better defense. Come on. Tyrann Mathieu, that's who I was trying to say earlier, who got the interception when Kirk Cousins just basically threw it right to him. I know the receiver was going to be there, but he was staring down Tyrann Mathieu the whole time. I don't know how he didn't see him and how he didn't expect him to not get that interception. But anyways, they just have a better, solid, well-rounded team. Jameis Winston, hopefully he plays better because I like Jameis Winston. He's fun to watch. You never know what you're going to get with him. But he had his turnover factory running 2 weeks ago when he played the Chargers. I'm going with the Saints on this. A pretty easy pick for me. Then we got an AFC North showdown. The Ravens taking on the Steelers. This looks like the third divisional game this week. Yeah. Ravens taking on the Steelers. This is going to be a very fun game. I think this is going to be the best game. Whoever wins this game will take sole possession of the AFC North for now. And it looks like it's only these two teams in contention. The Bengals have a long way to get up there, like even though they're only down a few games, but still. And I'm going with the Ravens on this. Their offense is much more explosive and much more fun to watch. Even though their defense is putrid, and the Steelers' defense is obviously leagues better as of now, I think the offense is going to be the deciding factor in this game. Russell Wilson is showing flashes of his brilliance in Seattle, but I like Lamar more. And Lamar pulled off some amazing bullshit last week against the Bengals. That was really fun. And I think the Ravens are going to be hungry for this, even though the Steelers could keep it close. I don't think the Ravens have beat the Steelers in a while. Let me look up their games from 2023. Steelers won both of those games. Let's look up the games from 2022. Steelers won one and the Ravens won the others. So yeah, three game winning streak for the Steelers against the Ravens. They always have it really close games. So this is going to be a very fun, very competitive, very cutthroat game that I'm giving to the Ravens. That is the best game of the week as of now. Then we got the Colts taking on the Jets. The Colts are going to be starting Anthony Richardson for the rest of the season, apparently. They benched Anthony Richardson for Joe Flacco. They said he's the starter for the rest of the season. That only lasted 2 weeks. And hopefully Anthony Richardson can pull himself back up. But against a piss-poor team like the Jets, that doesn't look like that it'll be that much of a problem. Anthony Richardson will go 4 for 18 for 200 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't know. That just seems like the most Anthony Richardson stat line that's going to happen against the Jets. I think it'll be really funny. I'm sorry. I had to. But in all seriousness, the Jets firing Robert Saleh totally fixed your problems. You've won 1 game since. Let's look up the Jets. Let's look at their past games. And especially since firing Robert Saleh. They fired Robert Saleh after the Vikings game, losing 23-17. They lost by a field goal against the Bills the next game. Then they lost to the Steelers in a very funny fashion. Then they lost to the Patriots, which was really, really, really damn funny. And then they beat the Texans. And the Texans are, they're kind of sad now. Then they just got mollywopped by the Cardinals. So firing Robert Saleh totally fixed all of your problems, okay? And I get it. Aaron Rodgers was perfectly suited for this team last season. And, you got a year's worth of banged up guys who are fitted last season. But hey, what happened to all the talk of, oh, the Jets are Super Bowl favorites this year. Oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to lead the Jets to the Super Bowl. They're 3-7. There's no way that's going to happen. The season's over. Davante Adams is in a much worse position on the Jets than the Raiders because he dropped a touchdown in the end zone. That was kind of funny. And, of course, all the love for Davante Adams. I wanted the best for him and Derek Carr when they were on the same team. Josh McDaniels fucked it up. But anyways, yeah. Yeah. I mean, thankfully the Jets are eating up his contract. But, come on. That was a pretty, easy touchdown to catch in the end zone. And it just doesn't seem like he's on the same page with Rodgers. That and Rodgers, doesn't look all there, as in like how he used to. He's old now. Come on. I spent way too much time on this. I'm going with the Colts on this. It's going to be a very ugly game though. Then we got the Falcons taking on the Broncos. The Broncos coming off of a very tough loss against the Chiefs. A game they should have won. A game they outplayed the Chiefs. The Falcons coming off of a loss against the Saints. A game they honestly should have won. If Younghoe Koo made those 3 field goals, then they would have won. They should have won. They were only down by 10 for a majority of the game. The Falcons are such a weird team to gauge for me. This season, at least. Kirk Cousins looked electric. And then... they're a very weird team to gauge. The Broncos, on the other hand, have flashes of brilliance, but they're 5-5. So this is gonna be a weird game. I think it's gonna be a stupidly close game, within like two. I'm going with the Falcons. I don't have a whole lot to say. I don't want the Falcons to win. I'd rather have the Broncos win, even though the Broncos are, rivals of the Raiders in the division. I honestly think the Falcons are going to win. I don't want them to, though, just because I want the Saints to get back in the division, but whatever. Then we got the Seahawks taking on the Niners. I'm going with the Niners on this because the Seahawks have way too many ups and downs. Let's look at their past games this season. Seahawks are coming off of a bye, so they might be well rested, but I don't know. Geno's kind of regressing. He's had a few good seasons there. 3 touchdowns for 3 interceptions in the last game that he played against the Rams. The Seahawks just have way too many ups and downs. The Niners have their number, I think. The Niners are going to take this. They're way more talented. They got some teammates back. Niners. Then we got the Chiefs taking on the Bills. And please, Bills, please, you have to stop the demon. Josh Allen is 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, that is. So we got to hope that statistics won't fail us. Please, Josh Allen, for the love of God, please end the nightmare of the Chiefs going 17-0 this season, please, because the Chiefs honestly could do it. I know everyone's making the joke that the Panthers are going to stop them, and I honestly think that could happen with the way Bryce Young is getting his motivation back and Chuba Hubbard looking really good. But please, Josh Allen, please, we need you. The Chiefs, I'm sorry, they don't look good. They haven't had a convincing win all season, I think. They beat the Raiders by 5. That's enough to tell you that this isn't a good team. But they're winning. Their largest win was against the Saints by 13. Every other game they've played has been super close. Please, Josh Allen. That's all I'm hoping for is Josh Allen. That's it. Please, Josh Allen, pull off some magical bullshit. Then we got the Bengals taking on the Chargers. I'm going with the Bengals on this. The Chargers don't excite me. I'm sorry. Sue me. The Bengals, they're much more explosive. The Chargers are sticking to that tough mentality. Ram the ball down your throat. Make a nice pass here and there. But I honestly think they're wasting Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert needs to sling the ball. I haven't seen a whole lot of that this season. Joe Burrow has looked phenomenal, though, so I'm going with the Bengals on this. Looks like I'm in the majority, 63% against 37%. I don't have a whole lot to say on this. I'm sorry. Mainly because the Chargers are... I just don't see a whole lot of the Chargers stuff. That's Sunday Night Football, by the way. A weird Sunday Night Football, but whatever. Then we got the Texans taking on the Cowboys. The Texans. As much as the Texans have regressed in the past few weeks, as much as they don't look like contenders as of now, I mean, I think they're going to take division, but within that garbage division, I kind of hope you will. But the Cowboys are pathetic. Cooper Rush, he's your quarterback. He's going to help you guys. I mean, you guys even weren't doing good with Dak. You guys weren't doing good with Dak, but without Dak, you're garbage, awful, doo-doo, pee-pee, caca. It's great to see the downfall of the Cowboys. Everyone is loving it. And Jerry Jones is pissed off because they're like, hey, do you want to put curtains on the fucking stadium so, your players can see in the end zone when the sun's glaring at you? He said, no, because I'm an old man and I like my way. It's the Cowboy way. We them boys. Yeah, you guys also fucking suck. So Texans are taking this even though the Texans have looked pretty whatever these past few weeks. Cardinals, Panthers, Giants, and Bucks. Those are the 4 teams on the bye this week. So let's hope I go 14-0 this week. So anyways, those are my week 11 picks. My last video was received pretty well, actually. It is my most viewed out of these NFL prediction videos, coming in at 115 views. I'm very happy about that, because that blew up out of nowhere. So hopefully I'll get this out on time and get all those views, because I want more people to watch this. I want people to comment and tell me what they thought about my stupid picks. So do that. Tell me what you thought about my picks in the comment below. Let me know what your record is so far. And I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. So yeah, bye.